Okay, is it, it's Mr. Stephani, is that pronounced that
That
correctly?
is correct,
Okay.
yes.
We were just chatting a little bit before we started about when you joined the 105th, and I think you told me that...
January of 1941.
Right, and you were at that time playing baseball in the
I was in the Florida State League, and not to lose 2 seasons, I went for that 1 year, which we were supposed to just stay in for 1 year.
Okay, and that was a Brooklyn Dodgers farm club?
It was, well, I was down, farmed out with them, yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And
so you volunteered and joined you joined the 27th?
27th Division, 105th Infantry, yeah.
At
Company B, Fort McClellan, Alabama.
Right, in January of 41.
Right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Do you, can you just tell me a little bit what you recall about Fort McClellan? I mean, what were the conditions down
Well,
there?
we had pyramidal tents.
Yeah.
They were always on fire, something, because it was a little chilly there during the winter months there where we were. And
what do you mean they're always on fire? I mean,
well,
from the stoves?
From the sparks would fly up, you know.
Yeah.
It was all canvas roof we had, and a lot of times there was a lot of fires going.
Mm-hmm.
But the training, we had good training, I got to say that. Good infantry training. And our division, I would say, was one of the first divisions that were ready to go overseas, which we were then, when we were sent in the Pacific.
Mm-hmm.
We were pretty well trained, had a good year's training.
Right, and you recall the maneuvers, the Tennessee maneuvers?
Tennessee maneuvers, yes. We had, I think at that time, Captain O'Brien and Captain Hennessy. Captain Hennessy was my captain,
right.
And Captain O'Brien was A Company. And we were teamed up like against a couple other companies, and simulated warfare and all that. It was interesting.
In a Tennessee maneuvers?
Yeah, Tennessee, right.
Okay, so in the Tennessee maneuvers, it was kind of an internal maneuver between
more or less, yeah, I would say, more so.
Whereas in the Louisiana, Arkansas, you had
that was a little different.
Separate outfits that were
different outfits.
Separate divisions, is that right?
It was. We had 27th Division. I forget what the other outfits were there in Louisiana, Arkansas. But it was good training we had. We were pretty well trained.
Okay. I got a little. If you happen to have a VCR, I have a little clip that.
No, I don't.
Okay, that's too bad. It's a little. I'll just describe it to you. It's a clip that. Do you remember a fellow named Vince Busone? Busone. He was company clerk, Company A.
No, I didn't.
Little short fella.
Yeah.
Anyway, he took a movie.
Oh, yeah.
Of various activities. One of which was you were training for strike breaking and.
Oh yeah, right.
And then other field exercises and.
And rifle shooting.
And he converted it to a tape. It's about a 15-minute tape, but it's very interesting.
Oh,
It shows a bit. It shows my uncle a couple times. Yeah. Okay. All right. So the training was good. You felt as though you were ready.
We were. In fact, our year was almost up. We thought we were coming home.
Yeah.
That's when they sent us out to California. Marchfield. We went to guard Marchfield.
Right.
It was our first operation, really.
Right.
Yeah. We were in Riverside, California. Never forget that.
What about your equipment during the...
Well, we had the 03 rifles. That's all. Hardly any. Nothing like the M1s, You had 03 rifles.
That was at the beginning?
That was it for quite a while. And then the old helmets, steel helmets, because they modernized them a little better as the years went on. And then we got the M1 rifles, which...
Was that toward the end of your stay at McClellan?
Yeah, I think so, yes. Mm-hmm.
And what about mortars and...
Well, that came in a little later,
Yeah.
all that stuff. Bazookas, too.
Yeah.
That was all coming in gradually. I can't remember the exact dates on that stuff.
Sure.
Then we were...
By the time you got sent to California, you were fully equipped, though, as I understand. Right?
We were pretty much, I would say, yes. Yeah. And then, of course, when we got to Hawaii, we were training yet there, Schofield Barracks, where we were taken
Good.
over.
Let me just go back to McClellan for a second.
Okay.
Do you recall I think it probably would have been the fall of 41, after your year was up, that there was a movement called the Ohio movement? Remember that?
Yeah, over the hill.
What was that about? Do you remember?
Well, because they were all saying, we wanted to get out because our year was up.
Right.
And so nobody, that's how that Ohio started.
Yeah.
Over the hill in October. OHIO. That's what I remember it as. Yeah.
I mean, was that a
It was
serious?
just, no, it wasn't a real big threat.
Not a big deal.
No. But it was chanted probably throughout the whole division, I would say.
Chanted at what occasions?
Well, anytime guys would get together,
Uh-huh.
something, in the like of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, but well, I understand from some of the guys, they told me that there were some leaves, furloughs and leaves started to be granted too before in California.
We went to, let me see, it might have been, you're right, because I think there was a few, they had like a lottery picked. If your name was picked, you come home.
Yeah.
Not very many though out of
Right.
Company B. I remember maybe 4 or 5 guys tops,
Uh-huh.
Got it. I know, I wasn't one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you married at the time?
No.
Yeah. So that took some of the pressure off, because at least some guys knew that they could get a chance to go home.
That's right. They knew you. That was it.
Yeah. Just quickly, if you look in the book there, where's Company? You got Company B. I just look at these officers. First Lieutenant O'Toole, he's not there. I guess he was off in. Did you remember him? This guy, there's no photograph, but he's there.
William O'Toole. Yeah, I knew him too. I met too much because I don't know. I don't know how long he was in there.
Yeah, he didn't go to.
King was good, and Albanese. And McCarthy.
Yeah, McCarthy. Albanese. I'm going to go see him later today.
Yeah, Frank Albanese. Oh yeah, he was a good man, Albanese.
And of course, Lieutenant King was killed at.
Yeah, he was killed on Saipan.
Right. And then McCarthy, he moved over to 2nd Battalion.
Right.
That's the same guy. Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got Hennessy. He left the outfit, didn't he?
Is McCarthy still living? Or?
I think he is.
Yeah.
People ask me.
He become a major then. I'm pretty sure, didn't he? And
he
was the one that sent me. Well, I'll get to that battle at Saipan. Now I got to get in the picture.
Yeah.
I always mention about Major McCarthy.
Right.
Because there was hardly any. Well, is that thing being recorded now?
Well, I can stop it.
No, until we get to that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, yeah, he became a major and was the executive officer of the 2nd Battalion.
Right.
Yeah. And then Hennessy, he left the outfit.
He left the outfit. That's when Captain Ryan came in.
Okay, that would have been in like January 42?
I would say, just about that time.
Okay. Okay, well then that brings us up to right where we were there.
Right.
Talking about, you moved to California, Marchfield, then
we went to Fort Ord.
Right. Now, do you think that Captain Ryan came in, you thought, in around 42, January of 42? He replaced Hennessy?
I would say, it was around that time, yeah. He was a lawyer too, He could have been the FBI.
Oh, Captain Ryan?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, yeah? What,
He didn't want to. He just wanted to be an infantry officer, he says.
Huh.
He was smart. He real
Can you tell me a little bit about him? Just what he looked like? And
tall, very tall,
yeah.
slim, very smart man too. He knew his business as far as tactics were concerned. He was a man that you would follow without any problem. I had no problem with because him and I, we ran the cup between the first sergeant and the captain. That's him and the two he always felt as though I should be an officer, even when I was first sergeant. You know, he had me go for OCS.
Uh-huh.
And my papers were in Hawaii, and our outfit was moving out, and I had a request that they be taken out, because I was supposed to be left behind and go to Fort Benning.
Yeah.
I said, no, I didn't want that. I said, I want to go with the outfit.
So
I was with them, and I stayed with Company B, yeah.
You stayed with...
First sergeant.
Right, this was on, then, when they went to Hawaii, you stayed with...
Right,
Yeah.
I stayed with the company, yeah.
So now, Lieutenant Ryan, do you recall... Captain Ryan, I'm sorry. What was his, what, you know, his background? Was he OCS, or was he,
I know he was
ROTC?
a lawyer in California.
Uh-huh.
How he got his he must have got our OTC, I think, yeah. I don't think he went to, I don't know about it. He might have gone. May have gone OCS.
What about, I understand that he and my uncle were close.
Yes.
Can you tell me anything about that?
Because I noticed myself, any meetings that they had, he was always the first one involved. Of all the captains, you know, that I knew in the 1st Battalion, Captain Ryan was always, Colonel Ryan always picked on him for certain reasons. I mean, the man militarily was a good man. That's one of the reasons, I'm sure.
So he would ask his opinion about...
Oh, yeah, oh, definitely. Yes. Yeah.
And we'll get to the point. I know he was killed also.
Yeah, on Saipan.
Yeah.
That's the night that crazy Smith. Wait till I get to him.
Yeah. Now, what was his first name again? I can't remember.
Who's
that? Ryan?
Richard.
Richard Ryan, yeah, okay. Yeah. There's a couple other Ryans.
Yeah, Richard.
Okay. Okay, so then you were at Marchfield, then you went to Fort Ord, and this is where, you were at Fort Ord, this is where...
Captain Ryan come in there.
Come in there, and this is where you, he suggested you become an officer, and that's what...
No, it was back in Hawaii.
Oh, back in, I'm sorry,
Hawaii,
okay.
No.
Okay.
Because I just got to know him then myself,
Right,
you know,
yeah,
I wasn't
right.
close to him yet.
Came in at that time, okay.
Yeah. Then we went right to Hawaii, it wasn't long after.
Right, and then you moved,
Yeah.
and you went on a big, was that big ship, the Aquitania?
The Aquitania, yeah, British ship.
British ship? What was that like?
Oh, beautiful. British ship, Aquitania. And I never forget Captain Story. When I got the battlefield commission, you know, and he had the Company I all lined up, and I was just transferred, you know, to go to Company I. He says, I have to introduce your new lieutenant, and there was a few boos, you know, like as if I was a rookie, you know.
Yeah.
And he said, let me tell you something. He's got more time overseas than any one of you guys here.
Yeah.
'Cause we went over about a few weeks ahead of them.
Oh, I see,
Our
yeah.
battalion, yeah. We were one of the first ones there. And they kind of looked up to me differently, you know.
Yeah.
They think I was a 90-day wonder just coming in.
Yeah, right, like a
Fort
fresh
Benning, you
shaved
know,
tail. Yeah.
And he said, no, don't worry about it. He was the first sergeant, Company B, and all that, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So, okay, so you're on the island.
Yeah, we were there for, well, off and on combat, you know, when they went to, well, the first, well, we didn't go. It was part of our outfit, I think, it was Macon.
Macon. That was the 3rd Battalion.
3rd Battalion went.
That would have been Captain Story's.
Yeah, they were the ones that went.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did anyone, I know a couple guys from other 2nd Battalion went, Art Hansen, who I've communicated, he went to Macon.
He did?
As a kind of
observer or something, yeah.
Anybody from 1st Battalion you remember?
Not that I remember, no.
Okay.
We weren't picked on that operation.
Did you know Colonel Bratt? Ted Bratt, B-R-A-D-T. He was the
106?
No, he was the 105th. He was the 3rd Battalion.
He was the 3rd Battalion commander.
Yeah.
Maybe at the beginning. I knew
He wasn't there.
Hopkins, because Colonel O'Brien took over from him.
Yeah.
Hopalong, we used to call him Hopalong Cassidy.
Uh-huh.
Colonel Hopkins, yeah.
Well, Captain, he was a lieutenant colonel at that time, but
Hopkins, you mean?
well, I was thinking of when they went to Macon.
Oh,
I think that
your uncle, was he a lieutenant?
my uncle was a lieutenant commander, lieutenant colonel,
At
and I
that
think
time?
Bratt was the commanding the 3rd Battalion. I know he got a Silver Star, but then he didn't go to Okinawa.
Oh, yeah, Bishop was our regimental commander, wasn't it?
Regimental
Yeah,
commander.
at that time, Bishop, Colonel Bishop.
Yeah. Did you, well, look, I was going to ask you that. We might as well do that right now.
Yeah, okay.
Let's go back. So you don't really remember Colonel Bratt. Okay, so,
I don't know.
do you remember Colonel Bishop?
Oh, sure.
What do you remember about him?
Regimental commander. I didn't know too much as far as his tactics were concerned. You know, I didn't know. We did what we were told, and that was it.
Mm-hmm.
But because I had a report to him when I broke the lines on Saipan,
Mm-hmm.
so I'll get into that a little later.
All righty. So, okay, you're at first year. I understand you were out on the outer islands when you were in Hawaii.
Yeah, we were at Big Island, Hawaii.
The Big Island.
The Big Island of Hawaii was the first stop we made.
Right, and then you moved in to Oahu later to Schofield.
Schofield back.
Yeah.
That's right.
Anything you can remember about Schofield? Anything about my uncle you remember about at Schofield, or?
Well, the barracks were beautiful. They were really, you saw pictures way back from here to eternity and all that.
Yeah.
The way the grass used to be was beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
The barracks, and we'd have a battalion parade every once in a while.
Yeah.
That I can remember Colonel O'Brien right out there.
Mm-hmm.
A review, like he was in other words, reviewing the troops.
Right.
And or we getting ready for a division parade or something, and he was right out there in front all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Sharp dresser, always was.
Yeah.
He was.
I'm going to stop this a second for something.
Oh, okay.
Something's.
The next operation was Kwajalein,
Right.
Anti-Weetok. We didn't go in that either.
Right. That was 106.
106. Yeah. So, want to skip that? We go to Saipan.
Yeah. Let's. When did you first? Know that you were going to be going to Saipan?
We didn't until we were aboard ship. I mean, we didn't know where we were going. We were out at sea, I think, 5 days or so, 4 or 5 days before they even briefed us on it,
Right.
Then we got briefed
On the.
on board ship.
Mm-hmm. And do you remember the departure when you left? I mean, you remember from Schofield? Some guys told me that you went in little cars, like little railroad cars, down to the docks.
Some went that way. We didn't.
Uh-huh.
I think we went in trucks ourselves. Maybe some went in some of the cars. They used to carry the sugar cane in.
That's
maybe
it.
that was
Right.
it. It could have been some
Yeah.
of them, maybe, but I'm pretty sure we went in trucks.
Yeah. I think the 2nd Battalion guys were telling me that they went in some.
Some could have gone in that.
Yeah.
I would say yes.
Okay.
You got that on now? Is
Yeah,
that
yeah.
all set? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, what was it like on board on board the ship? Yeah.
Well, to tell you the truth, we were pretty well packed in.
Mm-hmm.
And all my boys, well, I was first sergeant, of course, then. All my tech sergeants, and of course we had briefings every day,
Mm-hmm.
Captain Ryan and all the officers and all the non-commissioned officers were there. And then we'd have our meetings. Platoon sergeants had their own platoon. They had a brief, and all the different phases of the operation, which is supposed to take place. But it changed very quickly there. We were supposed to be a floating reserve for the 2nd and 4th Marine Division, I'm pretty sure.
Right.
They were the 2 divisions that were there. They made the initial landing at 0600. I never forget that.
Okay, well, I was going to ask you that anyhow. Tell us about that. 0600 on the 15th, would that have been?
Yeah.
0600 on the 15th?
I'm pretty sure it's 15th or 16th. I got my little blank book here. Yeah, it was around the 15th.
Okay, so what do you said you never forget it, so what do you remember about it?
Oh, we were floating reserve for the 2nd and 4th Marine Division. 27th Division was floating reserve. That's what they told us. That was it. But it wasn't too long in the opera, 2 hours at the 0800, we were briefed to land on another beach. And that's where we landed.
Right.
We had to take the pressure off the Marines.
Uh-huh.
And our objective was to take Ashu, Lotto Airfield.
Right, so just go back a second now when you landed, as I recall, on the 17th, which was...
June 17th, yeah.
Yeah. So,
We landed on Blue Beach.
Blue Beach, right. Now here's the distance.
Okay. Yeah, that's where, Blue Beach, yeah, okay. I got it right here, my little black...
Okay, we're
Yeah,
cooperating each other here.
because all I did every day was write a little detail, what we did every day, Company B.
And these are these are diaries that you carried with you?
Diary, like, and then I wrote up a story later on.
Right.
I had enough information from that to do that.
But
know.
you wrote this almost at the
Every
same...
night I would
Right.
write it up, because first sergeant had to make morning reports.
Right.
You couldn't do it in battlefield. It was after the island was secured. I went to division headquarters, went through this and made up all the morning reports from that.
But this is done when the information was fresh in your...
Right there, yeah, the day that was done, right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I was all saying is that it was, it was very fresh in your recollection of what happened.
Oh, definitely,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
Because they were having a lot of problems, Marine getting in there, and a lot of casualties.
Yeah.
And we...
What was that like when you landed?
It wasn't that bad where we were.
Uh-huh.
We had some fire, naturally, but it was... We moved right on in.
Some people describe that...
I never forget it, Ashuelot Airfield, when we took... And Captain Ryan, I never forget him saying, Charlie, he says, Steffi, they used to call me, just like Colonel O'Brien. He never would call you Sergeant, we call him Obi.
Yeah.
In the battlefield, I mean, that was...
Well, the guys told me they didn't want you to identify people by rank.
Obi, we called him.
Yeah.
Steffi, he called me all the time,
Yeah.
And Captain Ryan, he says, you're going to dig in all along the airfield, one side, the other. I never forget it. This Jap plane was on Tinian, because we didn't take Tinian yet.
Right.
This was Saipan itself. And he thought it was in Jap's hands. And he cycles it in, makes a landing, and all our guys are firing at it. I said, cease fire, Captain Ryan, I never forget it. Cease fire, because we were all lined up on both sides of the airport. Boy, there was a lot of holes in that plane, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
The guy comes out with his hands up. He thought it was still in Jap hands when I had our interpreter talk with him and all that. That was it, right? I was right there when we nailed him.
Did some people told me that Colonel O'Brien began to interrogate this Japanese?
He did, yeah. We took him to battalion headquarters, because Captain Ryan says, Sergeant, get a detail and get him there.
Yeah.
That's what we did. It was Colonel O'Brien, and he interrogated him, yeah.
This was not at the at the
Not at
airfield,
the airport.
at the headquarters.
Yeah, at battalion headquarters. That's what I remember. I had to get a detail to send him there.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so, but you weren't there at the headquarters when he was
No,
there
no,
yet.
I didn't go. No.
All
I just had a few of my boys go.
right. Right.
I said, make sure he gets there because
Uh-huh.
there was a lot of times they didn't get there. You know, when
Yeah.
some of the
Yeah.
men were tired, maybe I should.
Yeah, I know what you're going to say. That's okay. I know the stories on that. Yeah.
A little tired. Oh, Sergeant, he tried to get away, and both, you know.
Yeah,
and,
sure.
That wasn't right. I was dead against that.
So I want to just go back when I want to go back a little bit so that you were on the ship and you found out you were going to. What do you remember? Can you describe for me from the ship what you could see on the island as the Marines were going in? And
all we could see, I'll tell you, that island was hit with all our naval gunfire. There was a lot of smoke. I'd seen that.
yeah.
You know, from the firing of all the big guns and then the planes strafing and all that. And both, first thing you know, we were in, landing.
Okay. Now, where you landed, you said that some guys described as they came in, there were bodies floating in the water.
There was body, yes.
There were some-
I'd seen that too. Marines, oh sure.
Marines were, yeah.
The bodies were floating in the water, definitely right. That's why we were committed like we were,
Uh-huh.
so quick.
Because they needed.
They needed some relief, take the pressure off them.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, so you landed and then you moved out. Here's a little map that I've shown. Actually, this shows the movement. It's really something to try to recreate this thing. And
Yeah.
but here, this shows this map. I don't remember exactly where I got it. Shows the movement. Southern Saipan, 15 to 18 June, and it shows 105 moving down towards Aslito airfield.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
That's the whole setup.
So that was your first objective?
Right.
Uh-huh. And when do you recall you first saw any real action as you moved toward Aslito?
There was a little sniper fire, not that much.
Uh-huh.
Really, we didn't have too much opposition
Okay.
at that particular time.
Right. Okay.
Because they were busy over in this section fighting with the Marines, you know,
Yeah, up there,
all along in here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then we moved in.
Mm-hmm. So when you got to Aslito, you remember this plane landing, the Jap plane landing. Do you remember there was a dogfight between Navy planes?
No, I didn't see any of that, no.
Okay. Other guys have said that.
It might have been
yeah.
somewhere, but I didn't see anything like that. All
Okay.
I seen this guy circling, and both he made a nice landing, and that was it.
Uh-huh. And then he was taken away.
Yeah.
Okay. So now that was the 17th and probably most of the 18th. You were moving towards Aslito, I guess.
Yeah, right. Mm-hmm.
And securing Aslito airfields.
Yeah.
Okay. Then, is there anything that you could significant that happened in those 2 days, the 17th and 18th, other than what we just described? That moved up. There was some sniper fire, but there was no big confrontation there.
I got here on the 18th. This was, let's see, we established our perimeter. Right near the airfield. We dug in, I guess, for the night. Had air raid, and our plane shot down 2 Jap planes.
Yeah, that's what I was.
That's it, yes. There it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so then would the next day be the 19th? That would be the night of the 18th?
Let's see, 19th, yeah.
Okay. So, on the 19th, shows moving down towards Napatan Point?
Napatan Point.
Napatan Point, yeah.
Let's see, we left our perimeter on 19th. We contacted the enemy quick. Contact enemy, we were pinned down.
Why don't you read
Oh.
that, what you think?
We were pinned down by mortar fire and machine gun fire. We pulled back off the hill. We was on some kind of hill there. I forget what the name was at that time.
It wasn't Ridge 300, was it?
It had to be one of those. We pulled back, and then we proceeded uphill and dug in for the night. And that was at 19:30.
On the 19th.
Yep, on the 19th.
Okay. Yeah, and here's it. Let me just show you this little map. It just shows, here's the
The airfield, where you got to get that.
1st Battalion here. Well, here's the airfield.
Yeah.
This is the 19th. And it shows 1st Battalion here and then moved up to here, facing Napatan Point.
Yeah.
So,
Let's see, we held here all night.
you got allowed so I can pick it up on the tape.
On June 20th, we held a hill near the airport all night. Our artillery blasted all morning long. Our planes. Yeah, they were hitting us pretty hard on that area. And at 1200, 165th. Oh, and then we went into reserve. Men were very tired because we had a pretty tough battle fighting in there all during that time.
This would have been on the 18th and the 19th?
20th. This was on the
20th,
20th.
okay.
Yeah.
So at the end of that, the 20th, you went into reserve?
Yeah, we went into we didn't stay long because our guys were really tired. And that, let's see, 1400 we had to fill a gap between the 3rd Battalion and A Company. At 1800 we were up online again, back near the battalion CP. And we left for Magician Bay. That's it, yeah. To reinforce 165th.
Now this was on the 20th again?
Yes,
Yeah,
on the 20th.
to reinforce.
They had tough fighting too up till that point, 165th.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. Okay, so then we're over to the 21st.
On the 21st, we left Magician Bay at 0800. We went about a mile and a half back to Battalion CP at 9:30. Terrain pretty rugged. Now in reserve for battalion. Oh, I see, yeah. They're resting us up for a while.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we were called to the battalion headquarters.
Okay. So you moved back, and where would the battalion CP would have been somewhere?
Wasn't far back, you know, from where we were. You know, he was much involved in the fighting all the time, Colonel O'Brien.
Yeah.
He wasn't that far back.
This shows.
Let's see, where are we here?
Well, this shows. I mean, let's get the date. This is the whole period of 16 through 22, but
Yeah.
shows the first. Here's the first
Battalion?
up here. First battalion, 1,800 hours, 19
Yeah.
here,
Mm-hmm.
and then June 20, first battalion was up here. Here's his Magician Bay.
Magician Bay,
Yeah.
That's where we were, right up in that area.
Yeah. Okay, so now, do you remember there was an incident where Colonel Bryan ordered up some tanks?
You know, in that, where you're going to read there, when we had our Banzai attack, he said Colonel O'Brien got one of the tanks and started firing with the machine gun. I remember him in a Jeep,
Yeah.
his own Jeep, with the story they had in that.
Yeah, that's not right.
No, I remember him in his own Jeep.
Right.
Because he said to me, his last words to me was, Steffi, go form, because we were completely surrounded then, Japs all over the place. And who was wounded, who wasn't wounded, get as many walking wounded as you can and form a line about 100 yards back and hold it. Okay, Colonel. I said, okay, Obi, move. I moved quite a few back. I was wounded myself. I was shot in the neck at that time. And that's when we got this line. We made a solid line, but Company A was like on our left. That's when a lot of them guys from Company A was swimming out to the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
And I told them, I said, well, you guys, come on over here. We got enough wounded guys here to take care of. You can't be leaving these guys here.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, we held that line quite a while, but we had hardly any ammunition left too. We were fighting all night long, and I never, because I had a baseball arm.
Sure.
And I told them and everybody that was along the line, give your hand grenades to Sergeant Stephani.
Yeah.
And that's when I was blasted, because they were coming in groups, just kept coming at us, and I'd pull a pin and count to 7 and then let it go. Not pull the pin and let it go, because they would throw it back at you. You're damn right.
Well, this incident that I'm recalling is he ordered up some tanks to support an attack, and then the tanks
did come through. Fine. That's how I broke through the line.
No, I don't mean now. I'm talking. I'm back in June now. There was an incident somewhere in this time frame. You may not have been in Company B, may not have been involved. But I just wondered if you heard anything about it.
There were tanks that
They ordered up tanks, and what happened was that the Japs started firing, and the tanks buttoned up, and what happened was their direction got confused, and they started coming back and firing on
our own
guys. And the colonel, what I've read about, tried to get a hold of them by radio, wasn't able to get through. Ran up, jumped up on top of the tank, banged on the top with his pistol. Got him turned around.
That is correct.
Yes,
I heard that story.
You heard that story?
Yeah,
But you didn't see that?
No, I didn't see that, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's right.
All right, that's all I was just trying to get.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so we're up. Now, there was a point there in June, I think 22, that was where the 2nd Battalion wound up taking care of Napatan. And the rest of, if I understood, this map shows that the rest of the battalion, the 105th, the 1st and 3rd Battalions moved up to assembly area here.
Yeah.
This would be on the 22nd of June, and this is what this map shows.
Right.
Mm-hmm. What does yours say for 20?
Yeah, well, we moved up, let's see, up to... We set up a perimeter around that area. We dug in for the night.
It's on the 22nd?
He was under mortar fire too at that time, yes. Oh, we blew up a large ammunition dump. That's what it was, yeah. You probably had something on that.
Yeah, I remember that.
Is that, yeah, large ammunition, yeah, that's what it. Yeah,
The Japanese dump.
yeah, right.
Okay.
The 23rd, let's see, we moved out of the old 800 marks, about 3.5 miles. Where the hell did we go then? To the other side of Magician Bay.
That would be
We relieved the Marines at 1200.
other side
On
being.
the other side, we had a very hard march over rugged terrain and plenty of Japs. It was very hot. We dug in at 1500 and set up our perimeter for the night. The Japs started the counterattack with tanks. That's where their tanks come in.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we relieved the Marines. But were repulsed at 2000. Knocked them out.
At 2000, the tanks, Jap tanks were knocked out, huh?
Yep. That was on the 23rd.
Okay. Okay. Now, how about the next day? We're on
The
the
next day, well, there wasn't too much activity here. Still on the 24th now you're talking
right,
about.
right.
We're still behind the lines near Magician Bay and resting up for a while. We left the area near Magician Bay at 1500, advanced about 1500 yards and dug in for the night.
Okay.
We were on reserve, had air raid at 1900. But we were held in reserve at that particular time.
You're talking about 1st Battalion, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Mhm.
Alrighty.
Oh, on the 25th, we had mass right behind the front lines. So, like one chap, I guess he was there. Had a mass, which everybody was happy about, I guess.
Yeah. Okay.
And let's see, what else did we do that night? Had mass, but everyone stayed in their foxholes.
Oh, yeah?
Because, well, it was pretty much open,
Yeah.
country then. Sniper fire, all that.
Who would have been the you remember the chaplain? Yarwood, was it?
Was it Garwood?
There was a Yarwood, there's another one.
Garwood, Campbell, was there Campbell?
I'll think of
No,
it.
no.
Anyway,
Yeah, I forget it.
okay, so that's the 25th,
Yeah,
and you're still behind the lines at this time.
yeah, on the machine gun fire, everything else. Oh, on the 25th, let's see, we moved up front at 1200, contacted 105th, 106th at 1400, because we was in reserve,
Mm-hmm.
for them at the time. We went through Cha-Cha Village
Yeah.
at 1700.
This is on the 25th?
Yes. Set up perimeter for the night at 1800. Usually around 6 o'clock we'd always dig in. It was under machine gun fire for about a half hour. On the 26th, we left Cha-Cha Village at 1000. Attacked Hill at 10:30 and reached LD, landing. Reached the hill knocked out machine guns and some snipers. It was very heavy fire all the way through that morning. Contacted at that time the 165th.
Okay, what, this is where we're talking now, we're on the
26th, yeah.
6th, contact about 165th.
They were on our left, yeah.
Okay.
We had that was our objective, to contact them and make the line more secure. That was the idea of it.
Okay.
And that was about all on that 26th.
Okay. How about the 27th?
27th, we left at 05:30. Contacted enemy at 0700. Our battalion is in the middle of all the fighting.
Okay.
We pushed forward for about a mile and a half. Then we attacked the pass.
Sounds like I'm we're all set here now.
I got you on the pass.
Yeah.
We're up to that area.
Yeah, right. Well, there's and I was going to ask you about this. There was a, this is the second incident involving the Medal of Honor. There was patrols. Colonel O'Brien came up and set up some patrols. One, Lieutenant Mulhern was in one of them.
Mulhern, yeah.
A fellow named Tech Sergeant Raymond Lefebvre.
Lefty Lefebvre.
Lefty Lefebvre. And they moved up, and this is what I understand from they moved up and they came in behind the Japanese. They flanked the position and killed all the Japanese and captured some artillery pieces and.
Yeah, right. Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that incident?
That was around near the pass, though. You're talking about.
Yeah, this has been a date. The date is June 28th. What date you just give me?
Well, I was just finishing 27.
Okay.
Now, let's see what I got on the 28th. Under heavy machine gun fire for 2 hours. Left bottom of the pass at 1000. And gradually worked up to one ridge, on a ridge.
Mm-hmm.
Pushed forward about 150 yards and held up by sniper and machine gun fire again. Cleaned out the area with about 50 Japs and took some prisoners. That's where it was. Okay, that's where I'm pretty sure enemy roundup that took a lot of civilians too. We had civilians in that area.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We still was under sniper fire. That was about all we did that night and dug in.
And this is the 28th.
That was on the 28th, yeah.
Okay.
That's when a lot of action was taking place, where you say Lieutenant Mulhern, and that they could have been forward of us, you know what I'm talking about? Yeah. You're right. There was a lot of action in that pass area, I remember that.
Do you recall also there was somewhere in that area, there was an area where there were a lot of wounded Japs.
Oh, yeah. And, wait a minute now. You're getting into something else that I had to, and Captain Ryan, he was still alive then, yeah. I never forget it. I'm right alongside of him, and all of a sudden, I hate to even get this down on record here, but there was like a Japanese hospital, I would say, yes. I remember like there was a cliff all around it,
Mm-hmm.
and the wounded were in there, and they were moaning and this and that. Not only Japanese civilians also,
Right,
a
right.
lot of civilians in there. I remember seeing, because some of our guys were firing weapons, and I had to,
Right.
Captain Wright, I get them, cease fire, no more of that firing, and that's
Yeah.
we had to cease fire, and that was it. Well,
Mhm.
they didn't know. Some of the guys were just kept taking shots, which they should never done.
Yeah.
And I stopped them, and that was it. But
Okay.
it was like a hospital
Right.
for the Japanese and the civilians.
Right. Okay, this would have been around the 28th, somewhere around that point.
Yeah, it was in that area, right?
Okay. What you see? He's called what you call Lefty, the favorite Lefty.
Lefty Lefebvre, yeah.
Fave. He wound up getting killed then.
Yeah, he was killed.
Yeah.
Saipan, yeah.
Lieutenant Mulhern. I was going to ask you.
yeah.
Do you know if he's still?
He should be alive. He called me a few times from New York. This was after the war was over.
Yeah.
Charlie, he thought New York, I could just jump in and see him in 10
Right.
minutes. I
Yeah.
said, I'm way out on Long Island.
Yeah.
It's about a 2-hour ride at least.
Yeah.
I would have liked to have seen him because he lived up in Maine.
Oh, he lived in Maine.
Yeah, he was in Maine. And because he thought the world of me also, Captain Ryan. And then when he took over, actually, the battalion, he took the battalion over, after Colonel O'Brien.
Yeah.
Because there was no officers left.
Yeah.
We were all cleared out. And I
Yeah.
took over more or less the 1st Battalion as a first sergeant.
Yeah.
He was putting it all together, and he was in one area of it, and I got part of Company A and B, on the line there, and
Yeah.
held them as much as I could.
Okay. Well, let's move on to the next.
Okay.
You're on to 29 now.
29 was here. He was up on this hill now, up on the pass. Let's see, held hill near pass all day, and cleaned out snipers, killed quite a few Japs. Dug into the same place and held the ground. Let's see now. First Battalion, this is very important, so the Marines can hear this.
Mm-hmm. This was, excuse me, I'm on 29th again.
Yeah,
Okay.
First Battalion was first up the hill. This was tough fighting getting up there.
Mm-hmm.
And the Marines are working themselves up after us.
Mm-hmm.
We dug in deep at 1700 and had a few Japs infiltrate our positions. It was under sniper fire, and then the Marines finally reached the top with us.
So they were behind you and getting to the top.
Yeah, we were ahead of them we were the
Yeah.
first ones up there.
Do you remember what this hill was, or?
Purple Heart Hill, it could have been named, I don't know. There was a lot of casualties. we had.
Hill Abel or something like that?
Yeah, it could have been Hill Abel or...
Yeah. Okay, well this map shows, well I could put this together, but alrighty, so you dug in and the Marines finally got up the hill. Okay, and then you dug in at 1700 then, so then that's the 20,
Oh, now on the 30th?
yeah.
All right, let's see here now. We held hill. This is the one next to the pass now,
Mm-hmm.
and dug in deep. Did not move except a few patrols were sent out, which encountered some sniper fire. Air raid at 2,000, yeah, 2,000. Japs tried to counterattack and infiltrate our lines, but failed. Another air raid was at 2,200. pretty busy night. That was on the 30th.
These are the Japs airplanes? I wasn't sure they had many.
Yeah, they had them yet.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Well, they might have had one or two. You know, we used to call them, here comes
Washing Machine Charlie?
Charlie, yeah. What's it? Yeah. Yeah. That was on the 30th.
Okay. And here's sort of a map that sort of shows. Here, this is the 3rd Battalion, 105th. I don't see the 1st Battalion, but they're up there. There's the 3rd Battalion. That hill
Where was
table.
the 2nd at that time?
2nd was still down at Napatan.
They were still down there, yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay, so then we're on to July 1.
Oh, here. We were still on that hill on July 1 at 0800, relieved by the 1st Battalion of the 165th. They relieved us.
Mm-hmm.
We came down from the hill, our battalion came down from the hill, and we had rest in the rear area for a few hours.
Okay.
And then after that we marched 2 miles to Division Reserve. That's when we got back to Division Reserve.
Mm-hmm.
Got into a new area, 187J. That was on the map that we had.
Yeah.
You probably got
I've got those maps here.
Yeah, 187J, I had that marked because I had maps too that I used to follow.
Yeah.
18th. And that was the new area near Division, and we dug in for the night.
Mm-hmm.
Just a little sniper fire we had, that was all.
Okay.
On July 2nd, we left 187J at 0700, went 1,400 yards to 196F. 196F is...
I don't know if these got the...
Further there, is it on there, the coordinates?
I don't think that.
I don't
This
think
map
it's on
doesn't show
there.
that.
Don't
Some of these
show
others maybe have.
The detailed map that we had, they were good, you know? We knew exactly where we were.
I have some of those road maps.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see, all right, we left there at 15, I pushed forward and contacted, let's see, contacted enemy at 15:30. Was pinned down by machine gun fire and mortar fire.
Okay.
C Company was relieved to Assault Hill where the radar, where they had radar up there. Evidently.
Japs had radar, huh?
Oh, B Company was selected to Assault Hill where radar was. This is, yeah. At 16:30, we assaulted Hill, which was under artillery and machine gun fire. We advanced very swiftly and pushed to the top of the hill at 1800 and secured it. A wonderful job was accomplished. We dug in at the hill for that night. Quite a few Japs were killed doing it. That was another thing Marines should look at, you know, what 27th Division did. And that Smith gets me aggravated. The more you wait till you read that report, and you know, when he relieved our General Smith, there was a big controversy about it, naturally, and because we weren't moving fast enough. But he didn't know the situation, this Mad Dog Smith. All he was
howling
push,
mad, yeah.
push, push. That's all he had in his mind, not knowing what we were up against. We could advance maybe 100 yards one day with tough fighting. And anyway, we moved as fast as we could, but it was impossible. When he kept forcing General Smith to do this, and General would answer him back. He said, "This is the 1st Battalion. Now we got about out of our full strength. What do you say a full strength of a battalion was at that time? About
maybe 500 or 600.
oh, more than that.
Well, normally it would be 800 to 900.
Close to 1,200, I
Yeah.
thought. Yeah, because each company had about
But
200.
you're talking.
No. At that particular time,
Yeah.
you were down about 500.
Yeah,
You're right.
yeah.
Between the wounded and
Right.
walking wounded, or the guys that were killed, we were down to less than 500. And this guy kept asking us to push. Here we are against 2,000 to 3,000 Japs, and that's what what we wound up killing
Right.
on that Banzai attack.
Right. Okay, we're back there. Now we're getting close to that.
Yeah.
We're on July
3rd.
3rd. Yeah. Okay.
Let's see, on July 3rd, we left at 2300 and contacted the enemy and pushed on through for about 1 mile. Had stiff resistance, but managed to push the enemy back. We had quite a few casualties in the meantime.
Okay.
We took a few prisoners.
Okay.
And brought them back to battalion headquarters. We contacted the 165th on our right and dug in. We were ordered to dig in for the night.
So you're getting close to
Close
the
to
beach?
the Banzai, yeah.
No, you're getting close to the beach this time?
Yeah, near Magician Bay, was it?
No, it was on the opposite side.
On the opposite side of it, yeah, right.
Tanapeg. Okay, well, so
You ever hear Flores Point
Flores Point, yeah.
and Beach?
Beach, that's
The beach was there. That's where we were wounding up.
the seaplane base, yeah.
That was it.
Well, when
yeah.
did you get there? What's the show?
On July 4th.
July 4th you got there, okay.
Yeah.
So you're at Flores Point on July 4th.
Because we was up on a damn river. I never forget that. That's where my buddy was killed too.
Who was
Al
that?
Colangelo, my best buddy. He was a tech sergeant. On
Yeah.
July 4th, we was up on this ridge and we had to get across. It was like an open field, but Japanese machine gun fire killed Al Colangelo. Yeah.
On that ridge.
On
As you
that-
crossed that open field, rather?
On that open, as we crossed that open field, and my other buddy, Nick Charantona, was shot in the stomach.
Okay. Was he in B Company too?
Yeah. He wasn't C, and I got him in B Company. He was a good friend of mine.
Uh-huh.
He was originally in C Company, and I got him transferred because he wanted to be with us.
Right. Okay, and you shot in the stomach, yeah.
He was shot up pretty bad, yeah. Now, on the 4th, you want to...
We're on the 4th. You're at Flores Point now.
okay, now. Let's see. That's where we left the top of that ridge I'm talking about
Yeah.
now, this open field here. By the way, my son, that's his house there.
Oh.
This is mine. This is a beautiful place. In the
You
summer,
got a whole
when the
compound of
grass-
houses here.
The whole block we own.
Yeah.
He just bought a place in Montauk, my son, about a month ago.
Uh-huh.
He's teaching. He's a school teacher. He's going to retire in about 2 years. And my daughter lives in Hampton Bays. Beautiful out there, too.
Mhm.
My wife passed away about 20 years ago.
I see.
I've been living alone here. My daughter always, Dad, sell. I said, Dean, I happen to love my home.
Yeah.
It keeps me busy. I play a lot of golf. I played in tournaments and baseball. I mean, my brother's a golf pro and I played along the tour. And
Is that your tax business down there?
No, it's my nephew.
Your nephew, okay.
Stephani, yeah.
Yeah.
He's an accountant. My uncle's a lawyer, and his son is a lawyer in Patchogue for years. He's 96 years old
Whoa.
and still goes to work every day.
Hmm.
You got to see it. I mean, he's been in business in Patchogue all them years. Unbelievable. Plays golf, shoots his age.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Great, yeah. I can still shoot my age.
Well, that must be pretty
I
good.
did. I broke it last year. I played 2 tournaments last year. 75 I shot, 76. I'm 80 though.
Mhm.
Do I look 80?
No, you don't, but I was gonna say that's a
I'm
pretty
in
good golf.
shape, but I got a good memory. That's,
Yeah.
you know, God gifted me, I guess, with certain things, and my health has been pretty much.
Yeah.
I'm very thankful for every day, believe me.
Yeah.
My family, most of them all around here, sisters and brothers. Get along.
Sure.
fine.
Well, it's comfortable to have people around.
Oh, God. We were born, brought up. I was
Yeah.
all woods out here years ago. You,
July 5.
Oh, yeah. That's going to Flores Point. Held position all day near beach at Flores Point. He had little sniper fire. And it was rather quiet.
Okay.
And he's had another air raid. Old Charlie came along.
When you say air raid, you mean it was just a 1 or 2
Calm, that's all.
Yeah. Nothing.
Nothing to it. That was about it for that night. Now, July 6th,
Yeah.
held position near beach until 16:30. Moved up to 2nd Battalion. Oh, they were the ones that was up front, in front of us.
Okay, let me get this. This is important. I want to see.
This is the start of the band
Right, right.
Yeah, okay.
So 1630, you move up from
16:30 from the Flores Point.
up to the.
We met, let's see, to 2nd Battalion. I guess we had to contact them.
Yeah.
At 1700, we contacted them.
Mm-hmm.
We
Okay.
contacted enemy at 1715 and pushed forward about 1,500 yards. Here's where all the problem was with that General Smith.
Mm-hmm.
Because now we got the Japanese cornered, you know?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
We went that 1,500 yards and then we dug in. At Napan Point, was it? Yeah, that's it.
What's that again? What point?
Napan? Was it Napan Point? N-A-U-P-H. 1930.
How do you spell it? N-A?
N-A-
I don't see it.
It would be in this thing here.
Yeah.
I know, I remember reading it on the
Fort Point, Canopy. Well, we'll get it. Now we're talking on July 6th, right? 1930, dug in at
Yeah, we dug in at
Napa.
1930, yeah.
Okay. Now, when was Captain Ryan killed? Wasn't he killed?
At that, just about that time, that night when we were digging in.
Okay, and this is the night of the 6th.
Yes, that's the,
Do you remember that? You remember that situation?
Wait, let me check my casualty list here. Hold it. Wounded in action, wounded in action, wounded in action, missing in action, because whenever killed, we had to put MIA. That's where they, see, that was where these reports, like you say, Korea, and, Vietnam, when, like, first time makes out a report like that, missing in action, like they say a lot of guys are MIA.
Yeah.
It's not true. Yeah, the guy was dead. I mean,
Right. He was out of action.
yeah, right. I mean, but you had to carry him till the War Department officially
Said he was dead.
Yeah. Let me see. July 4th. It's Colangelo he was MIA. Yeah. These are all MIAs here. Roy Pira. Cups, he was killed in action. and Porto. This guy's all wounded in action. I'm pretty sure Captain Bryan was the 6th.
Okay, so do you remember anything about that?
He was shot right in the back of the head.
Sniper?
Sniper, yeah. Right through the head, right in the middle of it. I was lucky.
Were you close to him at that time?
Oh yeah, I was right near him. We were, because that was like my CP, you know, he was always with us.
Right.
The company CP. We were right up the front lines, though. I mean, actually, there was no CP where you're way behind lines or any of that, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's when he was shot, right there. Because I never forget Lieutenant Mullen. He went up, took his bars off, his captain bar. He said, "Here, I still have them." He said, "Charlie, I think he'd want you to have them." He handed them to me. Yeah. What a good story, yeah?
Yeah, okay, so that was the evening of that.
Well, the Japs kept infiltrating our lines all night long. We were firing, they were firing, and it was a mess. It was really a mess.
Let me show you something. Do you remember Luke Hammond?
Yes. He took over
B Company
in the...
at Okinawa, yeah.
Yeah, after the Okinawa.
Right. Anyway,
For Okinawa, he took over there.
yeah. This is a little map he gave me, which he recalled. But this is, again, that would have been the evening of the 6th. This is a little handwritten map, and this is a little more. But here's another one that maybe shows 2nd Battalion, 9th position, 1st Battalion, 9th position. Yeah.
Yeah, they were all in this area, the Japs, because we had them cornered at the end of the island. Was at the end like that? Right in there. That's it. And they kept coming.
Now, but I just want to get the when you were dug in. Now, do you remember? Here's what I understand from the. I was just trying to get what you had for the 2nd Battalion. You had the E and F Company.
They were on our left.
On your left, and then G Company for some reason got stuck over here outside of.
They were away from us.
Right, over near the 3rd Battalion.
Right.
The 3rd Battalion was up here in G Company. And then, in the 1st Battalion position, what I recall is that it was C Company was down. C Company was
below us.
Yeah.
We were A and B.
Right next top. Yeah, up on top.
We were next to each other.
Okay.
I remember that. Oh yeah.
Okay. And C Company was down. I got a better map of it.
Well, right near it. It wasn't that far from us.
Yeah. Well, here's another.
Yeah.
See. Yeah. See. So, C Company was down. C Company and D Company were down here, and A and B were up here.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
C Company was on the sort of on the bottom side of that little.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So all that night the Japanese. Now, did you see Colonel O'Brien any time that?
Not that night.
Not that night.
I didn't see him till the next morning. It got light, you know.
Right.
And that's when he said to me, you wake up in the morning, you got thousands of Japs all around.
Okay, so it's so the Japs were infiltrating all night.
Well, here.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, they infiltrated in our perimeter. We were attacked all night long.
Why don't you read that so I can get it number?
Well, in our perimeter, on July 7th, we were attacked all night long. At 0400, they counterattacked with 2,000 or 3,000 Jap soldiers. They broke through our perimeter, and we were ordered, I was ordered to withdraw back by Colonel O'Brien to form another line about 100 yards back.
So like back from here, like somewhere.
I would say about 100 yards back.
Yeah.
That's where it was. and to try to hold them off as much as we could. In the meantime, Colonel O'Brien is in his Jeep. That's where he's firing that machine gun.
Mm-hmm. And you saw him?
Oh, yeah. He was firing his machine. That's when he told me, Steffi, you form that line back there.
Okay. Now, who stayed up in when only the wounded, the walking wounded moved back 100 yards?
Yeah, right.
The rest of the able-bodied people stayed up?
What was left?
Yeah.
Wasn't too many that was left.
Yeah.
Because I had quite a few back.
Yeah.
And anyway, we formed that line, and the Japs just kept coming, and they just kept throwing hand grenades.
You kept throwing hand grenades?
Oh, yeah. Kept the hand grenades going pretty steady.
And Mr. Colonel O'Brien was firing at him from the Jeep, and
Yeah,
he saw
right.
that, and he saw that, and did you see him actually get killed?
No. The last he said to me to move back, and that's when I did.
Okay. But you did see him in the Jeep firing, and then, of course,
Oh, yeah.
he was found
I was right alongside of him,
Yeah.
talking with him. Oh, sure.
while he was firing.
Well, yeah, just come on, Steffi, get going. Okay, boom, boom, boom,
Yeah.
boom. You know, sure he was. I said, okay, Hobie, we'll be back there. We'll hold them. He said, hold that line. That's all he told me, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I did the best I could to do
Sure.
it.
Was there anyone else around you at that time that you can remember? I mean,
Well,
anybody from
yeah,
the-
there was Sergeant Kupsa. He was one of my tech sergeants. He was in the weapons platoon.
Mhm.
He was right next to me. He even come back with me because he was wounded, and then he was shot. An artillery a mortar shell hit him while we were in that line. Opened his back wide open. Blood just, I hate to even put it down, you know, the way, what a sight.
Yeah,
Killed him right there.
after he moved back with you. Yeah.
Yes, right.
Anybody else you can remember that was near there?
Well, offhand, I couldn't remember all the names,
Yeah.
you know. Then, that's when this Major McCarthy had said to me, this was now, we're holding off the Japs as much as we could. A lot of the guys from Company A was swimming out to the boats,
Mm-hmm.
and the 2 tanks had broken through.
Two Jap tanks?
No, our tanks.
Oh, 2 American tanks.
Yeah, finally, we're getting something to help us. Then Major McCarthy he said, well, he called me, he knew I was first sergeant. He said, Sergeant, take whatever walking wounded you could, get one of these tanks and report to Colonel Bishop, to regimental headquarters. How the Japs had us all completely surrounded, even up to the regimental headquarters line, you know. He said, follow the tanks. Get all the walking wounded you could. Okay, we cleaned out most of the guys that was there. And we left some that was still able to fight and protect the wounded. And I got, this guy wouldn't even unbutton the damn, I said, open up so I can tell you what the hell to do. I said, right over there's a machine gun position. Just keep finding that spot, and over there's another one. I knew where they were. And they had us pinned down in there. And sure enough, they kept firing both, and we just followed the tank right on through. We had to run about 300 yards, I would say, back to regimental headquarters. And as soon as I got there, I went to Colonel Bishop.
Mm-hmm.
And he asked me, you know, how the situation was, and I told him. I explained everything. I said, one way to get them out, because they had a lot of ships out there, I said, landing craft, bring them right in.
Yeah.
And, evacuate them that way. It would be the best way, and they did.
Mm-hmm.
And that was it. Then, from then on, then they sent me to the hospital to get fix my wounds up.
Let me just say, you said something. How far? Just from where? I mean, this is the border right here. Right?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, right.
So the Company A guys, you say a lot of them.
They were on the edge.
The edge.
On the left, and we were on the right of them.
Right, and so they moved. A lot of them went to the
They were
water.
swimming out to the boats. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how many of them.
Yeah.
I know the first sergeant was one of them. I can remember him.
That's Occhionero.
Occhionero, yeah.
Occhionero, yeah. Okay, and then, so you didn't go. You went. You and this group of the walking wounded went with the tanks back to the regimental
Regimental headquarters, right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you didn't go to the tent?
But in the meantime, while we're going back, I think it was elements of the 106th was
Yeah.
coming up
Right.
to relieve us.
Right,
That's why I remember seeing them,
right,
and it was, I didn't even want to stop to tell them what the,
Right.
because there was one guy there in front. There's plenty of Japs out there, be careful.
yeah.
We just broke through the lines there. And anyway, I'm pretty sure it was the 106th.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Well, that's right.
So you never went to this, they called it the second perimeter. I mean, Love calls it the second perimeter, which after they, let me just, this would be the second perimeter, as he called it. After the broke, CP is here, I think, and they, in the village, Tanapeg Village, a bunch of people went back there and they set up another perimeter around this village and inside the houses. But you didn't go to that?
No, I don't remember that.
Yeah.
No.
Well, there was other people
Involved
there, and then this is where you said they brought in the alligators, the landing vehicles.
Yeah.
Took the wounded off right here at regimental headquarters, 105th. and then
That's right. That's where they was, and we broke through in here
Yeah.
to get to them.
Right.
That's when I told them about what the situation
So
was.
you didn't go to the second perimeter. The Japs had come down the beach and had surrounded these guys too. That was this.
Yeah.
Okay. But you went right back to the regimental headquarters. Okay, so there you are, and then you reported to, who'd you report to? Colonel Bishop?
Colonel Bishop,
Okay.
oh yeah. And right away he ordered the
Right, ordered the alligators.
alligators to go in and pick them up.
Okay, then you were wounded.
I was wounded
You
at 0600 in the morning.
Right,
And
but
I
then,
fought until that,
right,
I got out of there late in the afternoon, I forget what time it was.
but then you went to the medical.
Then I went to a field hospital, they
Yeah.
took me, yeah, right.
Okay. Alrighty. What was it showing? Anything
And
on
one other tank that we had, remember I told you 2 tanks?
Yeah,
Stayed and protected the wounded that was left
up on the front.
up on that line that Colonel O'Brien wanted us to,
Yeah.
that's what, he stayed in that area
hmm
to protect what guys were left.
Right.
Yeah. And that's it, most of them, Company B, we either was wounded or killed.
hmm
Yeah,
Yeah, the casualties were real high in
they
company.
were, definitely.
Okay. So you went back to the medical facility,
Yeah,
and then did you stay on the island, or did it put you on the hospital ship, or?
well, wait, let me see about the hospital ship, oh, wait a minute. You mentioned hospitals, oh no, that was on Okinawa when I got wounded the second time. I never forget that night. Being I was an officer then, that's right.
Right. I want to talk a little bit about that, but I just want to
Yeah.
get. So you
I was in the field hospital.
right.
No, then I went back to duty.
Right. I was going to say you went back on the cleanup when they did the mop up.
Yeah, mop up, but I went to division headquarters then with this here. All this information that I've
Okay.
given you, I gave to Edmund Love.
Okay. Let me just get that. So you went back to division headquarters. You told me you spent 2 weeks with Ed.
Yeah, and I had to make up my morning reports and gave him all the details that I had.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. So you gave him the morning reports?
Well, no, I made them up. I had to submit them into battalion.
Yeah.
Or regimental.
Yeah.
From battalion to, and they went through channels. I don't know who got them after,
Oh, okay.
you know.
You just you showed them your diary and you
Yeah, that's it. We
Like
talk
we're
just
doing
like
right
we're
now.
doing, just
Yeah.
about what we're doing right here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh no, you got a lot of good information, Hayes.
Yeah. Okay, so then you spent that time with him, and then were you involved in the cleanup at all? You know, going up some of the
Well,
outfits?
then most of I went up there for 2 weeks, and I never, because who do you have? Mulhine, I think. Yeah, Lieutenant Mulhine. He came back to Company B,
Mhm.
And he says, you have to go to report to division headquarters. You're going to be there 2 or 3 weeks from what they tell us. He said, who should I appoint acting first sergeant? It was Mike Mealy. He was a tech sergeant. I said, put Mike Mealy, he'll take care of it. And sure enough, then they sent out patrols and stuff and the like of that, cleaning up, and that was it.
Okay, then when did you go to Espiritu Santo?
Yeah, after that.
Okay.
We went to, Espiritu Santo in New Hebrides.
And is that when you got your
Battlefield
promotion? Your battlefield promotion?
On there, they gave it to me,
on the Espiritu Santo.
Espiritu Santo, so there was 6 of us that was commissioned that day.
Uh-huh. Do you remember the other guys?
Yeah, I got the thing. I'm going to show you.
Oh, okay. Well, what before I ask you?
How about the sandwich? We have a little lunch. I got stuff.
I wouldn't mind having a...
Yeah, we're going to have something. No, I'll make some, don't worry.
Okay, let me stop this thing right here.
Yeah.
Okay, we're back.
Yeah.
We're going to talk a little bit about the Smith v. Smith controversy and what Mr. Stephani remembers about that.
Right.
So just whatever you can recall about that event.
Well, it was in a lot of the situations that we had where the going was real tough, where our battalion was pretty much shot up, and had about 400 or 500 men left out of over 1,000. And General Smith, Mad Dog Smith,
Howling Mad, I think they call him. That was one way.
Mad, yeah. He wanted us to keep moving on, and we couldn't. We were pinned down. He didn't really know the situation. And he felt as though the 27th Division wasn't moving fast enough for him.
So that's what led to him.
That was led to more or less General Smith, Rob Smith's relief of his command because of that.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that had a lot to do with him being relieved of his command.
Right.
Which should never have been.
Well,
here we were faced with over 2,000 to 3,000 Japs,
right,
and we were only a few hundred left because we were all badly shot up and wounded.
Yep.
And then when they had the inquiry, General Richardson, Lieutenant General Richardson, who was just under General McCarthy. He was in charge of the whole Central Pacific area.
Right.
General Richardson got into the controversy, and he condemned Mad Dog Smith for doing what he did.
Right.
He did. I mean, where do you read that article on that?
Yeah.
And then, of course, a lot of hard feelings was between the Army and Marines at that particular time.
Yeah, I'm fairly familiar with that. It's still going on. There's a book out.
Yeah, there was something else on that.
There was a book by a fellow named.
In fact, the VFW magazine had a big article on that a while back.
Yeah. Well, I think it was '86. It was called Howlin' Mad Smith versus the Army, and it was a.
Let me just look a minute, maybe.
Yeah.
I'll give you a copy or something.